watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
Hello, very good evening to you and welcome to a nervous Scottish Football Zone tonight for all the fans that's watching the games. I don't have to tell you what's at stake because I think it's plainly obvious in your face. Hearts against Falkirk, Motherwell against Celtic, and this has not had a real build-up to it because it's basically a dead rubber. Rangers against Hibs at Ibrox, all kicking off at 8 o'clock tonight as well. Before we get into it, joined by Robbie and Ethan, and hopefully joined by Reagan on the show tonight. Get your comments coming in, get your predictions coming in for the big games. And now, so if Celtic doesn't win at Fir Park, i.e. if Motherwell beats Celtic, the league is over. But however, if both teams win, it goes to a final shootout on Saturday. Let's go over to Ethan first. So how's your nerves?
They're okay. They're okay. I think obviously massive games tonight, as you said. Less riding on the game at Ibrox between Rangers and Hibs, but I think there is small matters within that game. Rangers will want to get a win in the last home game of the season and right the wrongs of these last three games. For Hibs, they'll still see themselves as a outside potential for fourth place, depending on how Motherwell can get on tonight. Obviously, they got a good result over Falkirk to pretty much all but secure fifth. But the two big games in question are going to be so entertaining. I think there's going to be loads of twists and turns, hopefully, tonight. And I think there's going to be two out of the three possible results at Fir Park, no matter what happens at Tynecastle, will lead to some sort of final day shootout at Celtic Park, as long as you said, Celtic don't lose to Motherwell. But we've seen Celtic early in the season obviously lose to Motherwell in emphatic fashion at Fir Park, and probably Motherwell's best performance of the season. So I think that'll be played on the minds of everyone involved. I think Falkirk won the last time at Hearts as well. So, and certain Hearts fans making comments directly to the Falkirk captain, John McGlynn, a Hearts fan, I believe, former Hearts coach, could have got the job in the summer. Obviously, Derek McInnes not only getting the job over him, but winning the recent Manager of the Season award. So I think if anyone thinks that Motherwell and Falkirk, especially, are going to lie down to Celtic or Hearts, then they might have another thing coming tonight.
Before we get into talking about the game tonight, we quick word with Robbie. Sorry, Robbie, I'm going to put you on the spot about St Mirren in the playoff spot. They won the game last night. Paul Donaldson was at the game. He said it was an awful performance from Aberdeen last night to end the season now. And I think you'll echo that as a St Mirren fan, because you've got two cup finals coming up. So before we talk about the game tonight, what did you make of the game last night? A big result for St Mirren, but you would say too late.
I think there's always two ways to look at it, Michael. I was very pleased with the way Craig McLeish changed the system, and you know what I was like yesterday. I absolutely ripped them apart before the game. To you and Reagan, I was less than pleased with what I've seen in the most recent weeks under McLeish, but to give him his due diligence, and to give players a lot of credit. They stepped up big time with the performance and the way we played. I thought Richard King was phenomenal to watch. I thought it put Killian Phillips more attacking, and that really worked. It was a well-needed performance going into what is the playoffs, and look, we were playoff bound before that game even happened. It didn't matter what we done in Newcastle, we're going to beat Dundee. If not, they probably would have picked something up at the weekend. So I always felt like it was going to be 11th, but we need momentum now going into the playoffs, and you're not going to get better than going out to Pittodrie, getting a clean sheet and scoring 2 goals. That's all you can ask for going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of what you said there, Robbie, and a massive win psychologically, I think, for St Mirren rather than anything else. A team that looked like they can't score goals. They've scored 2. They've kept a clean sheet against the Aberdeen team that seemed to be sort of going in an upturn of form. I know, as Paul said, it's not been a great season for Aberdeen, but they obviously had completely confirmed their safety in the division, and Stephen Robinson looked to be building on a few things before heading into the off season. So yeah, I think it's a big win for St Mirren to take confidence into the last league game before obviously they will face Dunfermline or Partick Thistle, who obviously drew 1 each last night at East End Park. So yeah, that's not saying it's going to be an easy game for St Mirren, but I think I have a lot more faith in them now than I did before. That being said, I still think Neil Lennon or Mark Wilson's side might have too much for them in the playoffs. Sorry to say that, Robbie.
No,
Okay.
to be fair, sorry, Mike, I was just going to say, before last night, I would have most definitely agreed, and I would have already had this wrote down, to be honest, but we've just got that wee fighting spirit, and I was listening to Robinson before the game, and he was sort of saying he thinks the players have too much to go down. I agree. I think when you look at their starting 11, they were put out last night. I think they are all capable Premiership players. The problem we're facing is, are some of them there for the fight? Do some of them want to stay up? Because let's be honest, we've got 9 out of contract next season, a couple of loans running it. Who is actually going to be here next season? Who's going to take to that fight? Because they know they're playing at this club next season. There's no many in the starting 11, so it's going to be an interesting few weeks. But I'll digress for the playoff situation for now, because I'm sure Michael will be doing shows before the two big games as they come. So going into the top 6 in the big night, from a neutral point of view, it's an interesting spectacle. Of course, my views lie. I obviously want Hearts to do it for the better of Scottish football. And just to see a change, to be honest with you, I think saying a better for Scottish football is a bit, I don't know, it depends how you look at it, because how a Heart's going to do in Europe, you know what I mean, next season. So looking at it for that point of view, I think just in terms of different league winners, of course, my mind swings to Hearts, but you can't help but feel Celtic have got the Celtic way. They know how to win games, they know how to win league titles. Tonight's massive, because I've been saying it for the last few weeks, every game week's been massive, but this just feels like a night as the most important night, because if Celtic can go to Fir Park and win, I think Celtic win the league. And even a draw keeps it interesting, but if Celtic can take that mentality that Hearts didn't have at the weekend and go to Fir Park and somehow get a win against a very, very strong Motherwell side, which obviously I'm sure we're going to speak about Ian's situation, because he's been linked to a new job today. If Celtic can muster up a win there after, as Ethan brightly pointed out, Celtic get embarrassed at Fir Park early in the season, then they've won the league in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, Celtic are probably in their certainly one of their strongest moments of the season, where everything seems to be coming together. Martin O'Neill seems to know, I would say, 10 players of what his best 11 is. That right wing, obviously we've seen Luke McCowan start the weekend to not great effect. Obviously done really well for the opening goal, but then Sebastian Tedeschi comes on and he was a lot better, but he's been very hot and cold, as most players have. I think he will be the one that gets the nod tonight. And if you had to ask Derek McInnes, obviously Hearts need 4 points, I think, to win the league. They either need to draw tonight and win at Celtic Park, or win tonight and draw at Celtic Park. If you asked them what he wanted to need going to Celtic Park, I think you know what the answer would be. So it's obviously really important that Hearts get the result also tonight. So lots of pressure on both teams. At the minute, I do expect both teams to win. I think they're in good enough moments to get the jobs done, but it's not going to be easy. Falkirk and Motherwell have been two great teams this season, and have already showed both these sides that they're well capable of beating them. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and I don't think we're too far away from the lineups now. But as Robbie referenced to, really interested in the breaking news about Jens Berthel. Probably very interesting to both clubs involved at Fir Park tonight as well.
I don't suppose that the timing was very good for that to come out before a big game against Celtic, but we'll maybe just skip over that as well. Ethan, the performance on Sunday, I've been talking to a few Celtic fans during the week. Do you think that's been the best Celtic's 90-minute performance for a wee while?
Yeah, I think so. I think Celtic were a lot of the players were really, really good. The majority of the team played their part, and I think some of them played certainly some of their best games of the season, if not their best games of their Celtic careers. I thought Liam Scales was really good. Kieran Tierney probably one of his best games since his return. Alistair Johnston, you see the impact he makes of being back in the 11 is just a top player as we all know he is. And Cal McGregor had one of his best games of the season. I think Arne Engels and Benjamin Egrin both had some of their best games in the hoops. And Dyson Maeda, obviously, the two goals are excellently taken, especially, of course, the second one. So, yeah, I think Celtic are in a great moment, and I expect them to win tonight. But Motherwell will give them a game, that's for sure, because they've given everyone a game this season, especially Celtic. And Jens Bertholascu, I want to show that his team are going to have a strong end to the season, because you never know what's going to happen at Ibrox tonight. If Hibs go there and get a win or get a draw, then it really opens the door for Hibs to disappoint Motherwell in the final day and claim fourth, which would feel really tough on Motherwell, but unfortunately that's football, so they need to focus on themselves tonight, get the result that benefits them, and that's why I think it's really important that all six teams get the result they need tonight in the top six. Obviously, more so for Celtic and Hearts, you would say, because there's a title on the line, but even Rangers, who aren't competing for any positional sake, if Rangers were to drop points tonight, I think the confidence from the board that Danny Rule said that they have for him, I think would certainly be reduced if they don't end these two games well. And there could be a scenario tonight where Rangers drop points, and it's a really nasty atmosphere at the final home game of the season, which is certainly not great going into the summer.
Ethan, to ask you about Sunday, and specifically Austin Trusty, because I don't want to take anything away from Rangers' attack, because it's millions and millions of pounds worth of players and talent, and quite good talent in some areas of the pitch. Does it worry you tonight coming up against probably one of the better attacks in the league in Motherwell against Austin Trusty by the first 45 here? Because I thought, in all fairness, to give him credit, I thought the second 45 he did play all right, and I thought he looked back to his normal self. But I mean, Chermiti was absolutely ragdolling him about the pitch at the first half.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Yusuf Chermiti looked really sharp and looked. I think I heard someone saying this as well. He looked the worth of what Rangers bought him for. Obviously, heavily involved in the first goal as well. I think he looked really sharp. Rangers were obviously going very direct in the game, because I think, as we've seen, Rangers aren't really a good team at building it up from the back this season. A lot of their good work is direct or from set pieces. I think it'll be a completely different proposition against Austin Trusty tonight, though. To Wanda Mass, when you say that Motherwell they'll go direct at points, but they're not going to use him as a target man or anything like that. So it'll be completely different for him. But I think Austin Trusty's shown in the Celtic shirt that he's had these games before. I remember one at Dundee that comes to mind. It was a free each game last season where Simon Murray gave him a torrid time at Dens Park. And he is prone to performances like that. But I think most central defenders are. You'll be very hard pushed to find a central defender that has that never has a bad game or is never troubled within a game. But I think the important thing, as you said, that he bounced back in the second half, and he'll be hoping he can carry the performance levels into tonight.
Regan, how's your nerves?
Well, I was going to make a joke there, but I'll just leave it. My nerves are fine, Michael. I'm honestly okay, mate. I'm feeling good. Looking forward to a very good night of Scottish football. I'm looking forward to see the Hearts song again sung by that. As Charlie McGrew called it, no Edmonds. I don't think it was no Edmonds, Charlie, but I'm looking forward to seeing that again tonight. I think it's a big night overall, Michael. I think Celtic, I don't know if Celtic are going to win the game, but Celtic just need to get it to the last day of the season. But also, I don't know if Hearts are going to win the game either. So it's going to be a great night of Scottish football as well. And obviously Rangers against Hibs. That's like the Donald Duck Trophy, because both of them just want the season to finish.
Well, let's see who's Let's see who's on board for Hearts tonight, because Robbie has got the team news from Tynecastle, or as people know it, Tiny. It's quite a big
Aye, old
stadium, but
Tiny.
It's not
Aye,
tiny.
yes. I see Reagan. I see Reagan's more looking forward to the playoff game on Friday than Celtic creating another will. But
Yeah, yeah. That's a good comment, Robbie. Yeah.
Falkirk are taking a while. I don't know what their media team's up to, but they have the all important Michael League Leaders Hearts team sheet right now in front of me, so I'll read that out the now. You've got Schwalov in goals. It'll be a backline of Frankie Kent, Steinwinder, Harry Milne, and Stuart Finlay. In the midfield, it'll be Benny Beningame, Devlin, and Blair Spittle. With Kizridis, Milne, and Shankland, I think. The team sheet will be Hearts. That's really a weird thing, guys, where they don't label the team sheet out normally. Like, it's not even done in numbers. They just do it.
As well.
Aye, they just do it randomly, so try to work out the teams a bit of head scratcher. But when I actually get the official lineups in front of me, I can read them out again. But that's your all important Hearts team for a really, really big night in the Premiership.
Do you want me to give you guys the teams from Far Park?
Yeah, on you go.
Okay, so Motherwell have laid theirs out in what I imagine somewhat of what they're going to line up in, but we know Jens Berthalasco very flexible with his team, and it looks like he's made 3 changes. Cal Morden goals, no surprise. Tom Sparrow and Johnny Katrumbas come into the defence. Obviously, Gordon drops out. Stephen Welsh also dropping out. Obvious reasons, can't play against Celtic, and obviously Paul McGinn not involved either. So some big blows in the central defence for Motherwell. Emmanuel Ongelo makes up the back 4. Lucas Verdinger's back into the midfield after he celebrated the birth of his child and missed the game on Saturday night. He comes in for Oscar Priestman, and then the rest of the side is unchanged. Elliot Watt, Callum Slattery, Elijah Just, Ibrahim Said, and Tawanda Maswanise, with Connolly, Gordon, Nicholson, Priestman, Ross, Booth, Thompson, Hendry, and Charles Cook on the bench. And for the Celtic team, they make the one change that I expected to be made. It's Vojami Sinisalo in goals, back 4, Kieran Tierney, Liam Scales, Austin Trusty, Alistair Johnston, midfield 3 of Cal McGregor, Arna Engels, and Benjamin Nigren, with the front 3 of Sebastian Tedeschi, Daisa Maeda, and Yang. So Luke McCowan, the one to drop out, and I'll just get the Celtic bench for you, but there's not really anything interesting or changed from the weekend, I don't believe. Duhan, McCowan, Kelechi Iheanacho, Oxley Chamberlain, Sirachi, Hatate, Murray, Forrest, and Ralston.
Very smart decision for Martin O'Neill to play Daisa Maeda through the middle, no Iheanacho, because you look at the Motherwell defence for the night and it is weaker. It is very much weaker compared to what you're seeing out of Stephen Welsh and McGinn every week. So, Celtic, you're tipping Celtic to now maybe go on and win it for Park.
I was going to ask you a question, and it's not relating to the game tonight. Sorry, Michael, but I want to ask you about Paulo Bernardo. Because I think Paulo Bernardo is a brilliant player, Ethan, and I don't know why he's not playing. I don't get it.
It's been a really strange one. I think he's shown in moments in a Celtic shirt that he is a really talented player. Obviously, a lot expected from him in his youth days. I think in Portugal, he's captained the under-21 side for a while now. I imagine he's probably come to the end of being allowed to play for them, with obviously being a little bit older. And it's been a really strange one, and it looks like his future doesn't lie at Celtic, unfortunately, because I remember a game against Rangers where he was absolutely excellent. I think it was last season.
Was that the game, right? He scored 2 goals, was it? Or 1 goal?
I think it might be 1 goal, but he was just, his overall play was really, really good, and you thought he'd certainly had a future at Celtic. The Celtic fans were really wanting to sign him on a permanent deal after the loan, and Celtic followed through with it, and it just hasn't really worked out for him. And it's obviously a very competitive area of the pitch for Celtic. A lot of players' futures are up in the air. The 2 starting tonight, Engels and Nigren, been rumoured with moves away. And Hatate, obviously rumoured with moves away. He's not made as many appearances lately, did come off the bench at the weekend. Oxley Chamberlain, is he going to get an extension on his deal? So, it's all really up in the air at the minute. But I think the important thing for Martin O'Neill is getting the players on the pitch that are been performing the best to do the job between now and these last 3 games.
I think it'll be interesting, even. But I think, to be honest with you, I think Celtic. I think you possibly could be seeing a brand new midfield next season, because I think McGregor might go to Saudi Arabia. I think obviously, I think Rio will go to maybe something like Brighton or Brentford. I think you're looking at possibly Bernardo leaving. So you're talking about like Celtic needing 3 or 4 midfielders, and then you've got Engels, and we know that Dermot Desmond loves to sell players for a big amount of money. So I think Celtic will lose 4 midfielders in the summer.
Yeah, possibly, but I don't think they would let that many go. I think there'll obviously be ones that they'll try and sell, and ones that they'll try and keep a hold of. But as we spoke about, there is potential for almost all of them to not be here next season, which is a crazy thought. I think the only one you guaranteed is going to be there is Luke McCowan, but it's a really interesting one to see what will happen. But obviously, Martin O'Neill's focus will be on the here and now, and if he can do the job in these next 2 games to get Celtic over the line for another league title, and of course beat his old player and midfielder in the Scottish Cup final, then there'll be a lot of Celtic fans that want him to get the job next season, and especially with the news breaking tonight about Jens Berthlasku being linked with a move away from Motherwell that isn't to Celtic Park.
Yeah, I'm actually very sad at the moment, but I'm just starting to get used to it, Ethan. I'm not happy.
If I can just quickly, I've finally managed to get a formation in front of me, so it will be Swallow and goals, a back four, a Mound, Finlay, Kent and Steinwinder. Benningham and Devlin in the midfield, it'll be Spittle and Kizridis out wide, and of course the front 2, Claudio Braga and Lawrence Shankland for the Hearts team. So that is the official confirmation. Falkirk still yet to release their team sheets, so if they just want to wait a wee bit longer, then sure, go for it, lads. But I'd appreciate it at some point.
Maybe they'll just try to play the old psychology with Hearts.
Aye, we'll get it at some point before 7, I'm sure. But welcome into Ian, by the way, who says, "Evening, Michael, Robbie, Reagan, and Ethan. Hope you're doing well, mate."
Yeah, likewise.
But just to sort of switch into the Ians, gossip about him potentially moving out of France. I think, I don't know what you guys think, but I think he's more than capable of making that move. I think Jens is a very good manager. I think you hear a lot of stories from behind the scenes that people at Celtic are really interested in him, or other clubs are interested in him. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that would be a good move for Jens to make a move out of France?
I don't think he's got anything to lose, you know? I don't think he's got anything to lose.
No.
At the end of the day, I don't think it's a good move, to be honest with you, Robbie, because although he's playing a good brand of football, and even though you would say the French league's a better league than the Scottish league, I think you'd probably get more profile at Celtic and probably more attention. But if he does go to France, then fair play to him, but I'll be disappointed, because I think Jens Berthlasku should be on the lips at Celtic Park and should be on the lips at obviously Rangers as well, because I think Danny Rowe is definitely not going to be there next season for me. I know people are saying,
you don't really?
No, I genuinely don't, Robbie. You know, because people, people are saying Danny Rowe is going to be there, right? But people are saying the same thing about the Prime Minister right now.
Aye, but Danny Rowe confirmed in the press conference that Danny Rowe confirmed the board back him next season.
Robbie, Brendan Rodgers thought he was going to be there for 3 years and said he was going to be there in the next.
Yeah, but look, Rodgers the way he left was a different situation. I don't think Danny Rowe and the board are like that way. Like, apparently Rodgers and the board didn't like each other towards the end. I don't see that being the case with all.
But Robbie, you have said yourself, Robbie, that the owners at the 49ers, they don't hang about.
I said that, but I listened to his press conference. I listened to his press conference yesterday, and his words, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of the board have full backing of me getting into next season.
See See if Rangers get a draw tonight, do you honestly believe you'll still be here? Because I
Yes.
certainly don't.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Gary
Right.
Rowe will be the Rangers manager at the start of next season unless something incredible happens, I think.
But then I just don't understand why he should be either. Like, I genuinely don't. Like, I don't see any improvement under him. And I think at the end of the day, I think these
You don't see
Rangers
you don't see any improvement on him from Russell Martin.
No, I've seen improvement on him for Russell Martin. I mean, me and Michael could go in there and improve on performing the Russell Martin even. So it's a bad comparison to make. But I just think in general that I don't think Rangers fans are really for him anymore. It's not me. I just genuinely think that Rangers fans are fed up with Danny Rowe now.
Well, Ian
Yeah,
makes
no,
a good
no, I
point.
agree with
The fans, they usually decide when the manager goes, but I think if you were to ask 50,000 Rangers fans, I think you'd find more than half of them would want him to stay, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not enough of a majority of Rangers fans. Maybe there is a majority. I think it's probably at least, I would say, half and half. It could go either side. I don't know. But I think you need much more of a majority of Rangers fans to want him to go for him to be gone. And he's come out and said that Rangers board back him. They backed him, I would say, quite heavily in January with the amount of players they brought in for the money they spent on them. So I don't think there's a problem with him, like Brendan Rodgers feeling that he's not been backed enough or whatever else.
Well,
so I think he'll be there to start the season. Whether you or any Rangers fans or anyone on here thinks that he should be is another question, but I think he will be here for the start of next season, and he'll have the opportunity to turn around these fortunes at Rangers and win them a trophy ultimately, because he hasn't been able to do that this season.
I mean,
Yeah.
so Reagan, so like, say this at Danny Rowe, right? Bringing in a new manager, and he doesn't want anything either. Do you sack him as well?
No, but the Rangers fans don't want him anymore. I've spoken to a lot of Rangers
But
fans.
there's a lot of Rangers fans that do, though. See, the problem is it becomes a point where you just can't. Like, the board have invested too much money into Danny Rowe's time and gave him too big a contract to the point where it's just financial mismanagement if they sack him, because you're just losing more money than you're spending at that point.
Sorry, there's just some really interesting team news at Ibrox. I don't know if any of you have seen. Danny Rowe has made what looks to be, 2 changes to the starting 11, but one of the notable absentees not even in the squad is James Tavernier. So he will have played his final game at Ibrox, and he won't get a send off tonight. Dujon Sterling comes in at right back, and Taylor Asgard comes in for Tochi Chukwani in the midfield as the only changes from the weekend. So yeah, big news coming at Ibrox.
See a question as well, though. I want to ask you guys: do you guys still agree on testimonials?
Yeah,
I think testimonials are
Right,
yeah. I actually think there's a Sitman one coming up soon. I think with Ethan Erdogan.
All right, I remember him. He was quite good, Robbie.
Aye, so I think he's playing up in the Championship now in England. Fair play him, but no, I don't mind testimonials.
Why are you asking such a random question? I like it. I like how you're going about this.
I think it's just because a lot of people are saying about James Tavernier possibly getting a testimonial at the end of the season. So I just
any player that deserves one probably is Tavernier, but that can't be skipped there, because that's absolutely massive news for Ibrox. I mean, that would have been Tavernier's last ever home game playing with Rangers, and Danny Rowe's not even included him in the squad. Whether that's personal reasons, whether that's issues with injury, we're yet to know. But you think we would have heard about it by now?
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I think the manner he went off at Celtic Park wasn't a great look for him either. But obviously, Danny Rowe, you could say he has to do what he has to do to get Rangers to try and get back into the game. But if that is a decision based solely of performance or personal reasons or anything else, then it's one that's certainly very interesting. And either, I don't know. I think there'll be some Rangers fans, as you know, that will be happy with it, and there'll be some that'll be frustrated that James Tavernier will not get the send off that a lot of them feel that he deserves, despite
I want to ask
some
you as well.
battles.
See Nico Raskin, is he playing?
Right, no, he's not in the squad again, I believe.
No, Raskin's been injured, isn't he?
Yeah,
For the last wee bit, I think.
Is he?
But
Because I think it's strange that he wasn't in the squad for the game against Celtic.
no, I believe he had an injury for that Celtic game especially. But I can't get my mind away for that Tavernier decision. Sorry to cut in there, Michael, again, but I can't believe that he's no put him in.
I mean, let's touch upon Rangers thing, because I feel as though it's not had a build up to the game and everybody's concentrating in the game at Tynecastle for Park. But what about Rangers tonight? What will the atmosphere be like, Robbie, after not winning a game since the split?
There's a lot of Rangers fans that won't be there, and I know that for first-hand experience for talking to them. I don't think many Rangers fans are going to want to go. It becomes such a weird game now because Rangers have nothing to play for. You know, their season's done, dusted. They're finishing third at the end of the season. But there's going to be, in my opinion, there will be some fans there to boo, and there will be, because you can read in the Twitter comments, and I still don't believe that Danny Rose should be sacked, and I don't think he will be anyway. But you can just read in the comments the amount of people that are Danny Rose on different social media platforms. There is a lot of fans that's turned against them. I think when you look at the team sheet, I actually don't think it's a bad Rangers team, to be honest with you. I definitely think I've seen worse. I think there's a few players on the bench that will probably get minutes. I know Souttar's obviously there. I think obviously we got announced today about the Scotland squad, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays at all. But I am expecting it to be a weird atmosphere. I think it'll be quiet at Ibrox. I don't think there'll be much noise coming for the home end, to be honest. I think I'm more likely to see it with Hibs. Because, you know, if you're going to go to Ibrox and get a win and keep that chase on with Motherwell, then it's going to be the night, because Rangers literally have nothing to play for. I mean, Daniel Rose preparing for next season already. So I don't know. It's going to be such a weird atmosphere coming out of Ibrox.
Do you think the lack of changes are really interesting? I thought there would have been a lot more changes to that Rangers side after how they played for large parts of the game on Sunday. Oliver Antman, fair enough, he gets the start on Sunday because apart from Mikey Moore, the Rangers wingers haven't really turned up, and he had to try and get someone in there. But surely after his performance, I thought he was a passenger at Celtic Park. He really didn't get involved in the game at all, and I was surprised he lasted an hour, and I'm even more surprised that he gets the start again today. Maybe do you throw a Gassama back into the starting 11, or even a Scott Wilson, who both of them haven't looked great in recent weeks, but you know, that is something that surprises me for Hibs. As Robbie said, I think it's probably more important. Well, it's certainly more important for them in terms of a league context and fighting for something. They're unchanged from the 3-1 win, which was a really good win at Falkirk. And some big news for them as well, that Josh Mulligan's back on the bench. So that's excellent news for Hibs, because he's obviously been out since January, and he's an excellent player. Some would say Hibs is best. So yeah, some good news for Hibs, maybe less so for Rangers with the fact that James Tavernier's not in the squad. But as I said, there'll be some Rangers fans that will think that's a good thing or whatever, and that's everyone's entitled to their opinion. And like Robbie said, there will be some fans going tonight to try and create a toxic atmosphere to get a message across about how they feel about this group of players, or even the manager.
One player I forgot even existed was Max Aarons, that's made an appearance on the pitch again. I forgot he even played for Rangers. Butland obviously takes the captain's armband, but apart from that, it's pretty much a standard Rangers team. But they have finally the Falkirk team sheet, as the admin decided to finally post it. So it's Hogarth and goals, then they do it weird enough, they do numbers. So it's Henderson, Donaldson, Carl Donaldson, obviously, even I know you mentioned about the comment earlier. He'll be looking to hopefully try and stick one by Hearts tonight. It'll be then Spencer, Ambrogio, Finn Yates, Allen, Tate, Wilson, Miller, and Hart. So, it's pretty bog standard Falkirk
What
team.
about Barney Stewart?
Barney Stewart.
Barney Stewart does not even make the squad tonight,
Oh,
which I don't know if
a few in, but
Barney Stewart's maybe injured or picked up a knock or something like that, but he's not even made the
save
bench.
yourself for a World Cup final, Robbie. Have you not heard? Save yourself for a World Cup final. He's getting his all numbered up.
See, I know we'll talk about it more when we do the show on the 19th, but I don't even think Barney Stewart should be called up, to be honest with you. And I know that's quite an unpopular opinion, but I'll explain more behind that when we get to that. I mean, I can't take my eyes away from this Rangers team sheet. It feels so weird with Tavernier's final home game, and he's going to be sitting in the crowd for it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and a really interesting thing with Barney Stewart not being in the squad, but I think something that we've maybe overlooked and not mentioned from the Hearts team is the fact that they're obviously without two key players who are going to be out for 7 to 9 months. Two Scots as well, really unfortunate with Mark Leonard and Craig Halkett, and really strange circumstances as well. Achilles injuries is not something you see too commonly in football, and the fact they have two in the space of 10 minutes of a game is really unfortunate at this stage of the season, and wish he's got to them for the recovery, and really unfortunate, I think, for Craig Halkett especially, because he was really in with contention at getting in that Scotland squad. And
was buzzing to watch him at the World Cup, man.
Yeah.
I was really, really excited to watch him at the World Cup, but it's such a shame for him. What age is Craig Halkett again? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
He is 30. He turns 31 at the end of this month.
I know players have started playing for longer, but see, with that type of injury, there's a good chance he'll not get to a World Cup with Scotland, just by the way they go. And who knows when we'll next qualify for one. Hopefully we do every year for now, but every 4th year. But no, but I just mean in terms of the injury that Craig's picked up, I mean, for a 30-year-old, it's no great.
I know.
Hopefully though, Stuart Finlay makes his way to the World Cup, because I think he's been sensational for Hearts as well.
I mean, just looking upon the Hearts and Falkirk game in a minute or two. Do you think that the Hearts players will have that kind of like defeat at the back of their minds? Because obviously the last time Falkirk was at Tynecastle, they took Hearts to penalty kicks in the Scottish Cup. So do you think that will play on Hearts' mind as well, Ethan?
Yeah, I think it will do. I think I was actually wrong. I think I said that, but I think Hearts have won at Tynecastle against Falkirk since then. But the time before that, they did obviously beat them on penalties, like you said. So I think it will play on their minds, and I think there's so many little storylines in this game. The John McGlynn ones, as I mentioned, the Cole Donaldson, what he was exposed to the other day. So yeah, I think that there will be incentive for Falkirk to get the job done tonight, and obviously I think they have still got a very outside chance of 5th place. You know, they're 5 points behind Hibs, pretty much 6 points behind with a goal difference. But if Falkirk were to win today and then beat Rangers in the last day, and Hibs don't pick up anything, then they would finish 5th. So you know. John McGlynn and his players will still have that slight belief that they can do it. But, you know, no matter what happens tonight and what happens at home to Rangers in the last day, Falkirk have had an excellent season, and John McGlynn and the football club should be really proud of themselves. But they're not going to stop here. They're going to try and get a result tonight and disappoint Hearts going into the last day. But no matter what Hearts do, they will have a chance to right their wrongs on the final day.
I've been doing a wee bit of digging into the James Tavernier situation because my mind was racing. I found a few articles now that's gone about one of the bigger ones reported by The Sun is apparently James Tavernier exit Rangers after a sensational bust-up with Danny Rowe as captain misses out on Ibrox goodbye. Reading a bit more into the article, it says after an exchange with Rowe, because he learned that he was not going to be in the starting lineup against Hibs when he was expecting a send-off in front of his wife and kids. Apparently, as things stand, he will now not attend tonight's Premiership clash against Hibs with his family. So, look, take it with a pinch of salt. It might not be real, but it's the Sun, so I thought I'd bring it to your attention. But that is an interesting way to end James Tavernier's historic Rangers career.
That's absolutely sad when you read that, Robbie, because obviously the years of service that is he's kind of like gave to Rangers as well. I think we'll come back to that comment in a minute, Robbie. But Ian basically makes a comment because obviously, in football, Robbie, you can get overconfident and overexcited, and I know football fans are football fans and they get carried away. But Ian makes a blunt comment saying nobody seems to be giving Falkirk a chance, but McGlynn teams should never be underestimated, and that's right, because all of Ferguson's maybe Sunday or the weekend or the last couple of weeks is Hearts are going to win the game. But I mean, if I was a Falkirk fan or else if I was a Falkirk player, I don't know, but I think it would motivate you going into the game.
I mean, to flip it, Michael, all Hearts have been told all season is they're not winning the league, and look at the position they find themselves in. I mean, written off so many times, but you're right, Falkirk have been written off so many times. Who would have predicted them before the season started to finish in the top six and, make it to a cup semi-final? Falkirk and John McGlynn especially has been written off. I would snap your horn off for a manager like John McGlynn, and he gets overlooked so many times. I think he's an excellent manager. I really do. I think he's one of the best Scotland have got to offer. And Falkirk deserve every success they've had this season, so they'll be hoping they can go out to Tynecastle and prove a wee shocker. And look, at this point, it comes down to merely how you can handle, if you're Hearts, how you can handle the pressure at this title fight, because it is now just about getting there the line. It doesn't matter if the ball comes off a Cole Donaldson's backside in the 90th minute and Hearts win 1-0 or they run out 5-0 winners. Hearts need to just pick up 3 points tonight. That's the most important thing going into the Celtic game at the weekend, because Hearts shouldn't be looking at Celtic. Hearts should be looking at what they can do. Hearts know if they can at least get a win, a draw at their next 2 games, they win the league. That's as simple as it is. And I know it's easier said than done, but they're in this position for a reason. They know they can go and get ahead of the final line. They just need to prove it now. One slip up the night could be absolutely crucial if Celtic win at Fir Park, and really pile the pressure on, because now you're asking Hearts to go to Celtic Park and win on Saturday, which is a completely different equation. But they just need to focus on their own game tonight.
Yeah, and that's it. And Hearts have obviously opened the door with the result on Saturday night to allow Celtic even a greater chance across these last 2 games. And if they drop anything tonight and Celtic get a positive result, then you would imagine Celtic will smell blood on Saturday, and the sort of atmosphere at Celtic Park could just get on top of Hearts, because we've given them so much credit across the season, and they deserve it, especially for the mentality over the last few games to go behind in the last 5 games and pick up 3 wins and 2 draws is excellent going. But the closer it gets is when the more pressure comes on, sort of thing. But you can say Celtic have been there over the course so many times and all that, but Celtic, for the most part, have never had a title race this close either. So their players are dealing with a lot of pressure, which isn't so common to them. But yeah, I think Hearts need to go into Saturday's game with the advantage, because I don't see them winning at Celtic Park based off of the moment the way Celtic are playing at the minute. But that could all be flipped on its head tonight if Celtic fail to win and Hearts get the win, or even Hearts can win the league tonight. It really could go that way very easily. But yeah, I think it'll be a difficult game, but for Hearts. But I think Derek McInnes's team need to score first. They can't afford to lose the first goal again, because there's only so many times you can do that and keep coming back. It's not a good trait to have. It's obviously a great trait to keep coming back, but yeah, I think 6 times might be one's too many for them. So yeah, I think they need to start well tonight and get a few goals, and then they put the pressure on that if Celtic do drop anything at Fir Park, if Hearts can win by a couple tonight, then that obviously opens the goal difference up again, and then that maybe means that Celtic need to beat Hearts by X amount of goals on the weekend, which will obviously make it more difficult. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. We're nearly there, only less than 45 minutes now until the kickoffs.
Aye, and just to flip it quickly, Michael. What we've not really spoke about, this could be the night Hearts win it. We could be coming on the show at 10 o'clock and Hearts are champions. So, it's an absolutely huge night. It could be the biggest night in 40 years in Scotland. And if Hearts are to win it tonight, then we'll be coming on here, and I'm sure we'll end up trying to get Graham on because he'll probably be dancing about his living room all night. So, it's got potential to be a historic night in Scotland. At every game, because we're seeing the storylines that are unfolding in every game. So, it's interesting.
Yeah, and of course, Celtic have, I believe, never won every game post split, and you wouldn't imagine it would be this team that's going to do it. So it feels like there's going to be some twist in the tail somewhere for Celtic. Will that be tonight? Will that be?
I don't say that even, but I did say to Michael that Martin O'Neill's not got a good record at Motherwell.
Oh, are we going to get our predictions in?
We are. I've got many.
But before we do that, I know that Reagan's got a kind of theory about James Tavernier. I don't know if he's got a sign for your Packet Thistle team before Friday night. Reagan,
I see he's linked to Motherwell. Tonight. But
wow.
I just wanted to ask you guys, see in terms of the dressing room, I'm not saying that any of you guys have played a very high level, but I'm sure like people like Jack Butland and people like that who's been with Tavernier the whole road, and even like some of the young players, and even like Barron and John Suter. I just don't know how what they're going to be saying as well, because surely they'll be expecting Tavernier to get a good send off as well. So it's a bit strange as well, isn't it?
Well, this is it. According to the rumours, if it's to be true, Tavernier's not going to play in a minute for Rangers, so that's his career at Rangers done, just like that. And look, there'll be times I'm sure we'll probably speak a bit about Tav. We'll get Rangers fans on to tell the stories. You could go through his career, and as much as he's not won a lot, he's not been a historic winner season after season. What he's put into Rangers in every game he's played. His outstanding goal return, by the way, for a right back, the aggression that he's got in this game, the leadership he's got. Rangers fans are sad. I've already spoke to a few Rangers fans are sad going to Ibrox tonight, knowing that he's not even going to be there, because they wanted to give him a send off for he's 12, 13 years in post, however long it's been. I mean, the guy deserves a good send off. I mean, to me, that's hugely disrespectful. No playing James Tavernier in this game, because the least the man deserves is a send off. And if Danny Rowe, and by the way, this is where Reagan's comment comes back into earlier, because the fans were already against Danny Rowe, drafting him is going to make them hate me even there.
But that's similar to, was it not Philip Clement with who was the
Todd Cantwell? No, Todd Cantwell, remember he fell at him in the...
Yeah,
we TikTok Todd. Aye,
I knew it was one of them. Before we go, guys, obviously we'll be back on at 10 o'clock after the game. Whatever happened tonight, get your predictions before the game. Robbie, I'll start with you. First of all, Hearts and Falkirk.
I think Hearts will get the job done at Tynecastle. I think it'll be a scrappy affair, but I'm going to go Hearts 2, Falkirk 1.
Oh,
and what about the game?
Do you want my Falkirk prediction?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. I think Hearts are crown champions tonight. I'm going to go Motherwell 2, Celtic 1.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And I will then need to shave my hair at some point in the next few weeks.
Why do you need to shave your hair?
I made a basically last season, before Tony Bloom invested into Hearts, I made a deal with my pals that if them do outside the Old Firm won the league in the next 5 years, I'd shave my head. And then I read that Tony Bloom invested 50 million into Hearts, and I went, alright, that'll do it. So that'll be good.
And what about the meaningless game at Ibrox between Rangers and Hibs? By the way, Hibs has got something to play for, can they, as well?
Yeah,
So
one
it's
one
not-
a long way for Hibs.
1-0 Hibs, James Tavernier to score. That's my prediction. No, I'll go one each. I'll go one each. at Ibrox.
AI, James Tavernier. Yeah. Robbie, Reagan, what about you starting with Celtic and Motherwell?
I'm going to go Motherwell 1, and I'm going to go a 93rd minute win for Celtic. I'll be dancing about the living room, but I'll be enjoying it. Anyway, guys, and then I'll go for a 2-0 win, for Hearts, and a 2-1 win for Rangers.
Ethan?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go a 1-0 win for the league leaders, Hearts. I think they will stop their terrible run of conceding the first goal, and I think they'll keep a clean sheet to set up a final day showdown at Fir Park. I think Celtic will get the job done. It won't be easy, but I think they will win by 3-1. And then at Ibrox, the team news has changed my opinion, and I think Rangers are going to lose again. I think the mentality is all wrong with that team at the minute, and I think Danny Rowe's probably in a really difficult spot with leaving James Tavernier out. He needs to show that he's got authority over the players, but at the same time, as we mentioned, the fans are not going to like that James Tavernier doesn't get his send off. So I will go for a 2-1 win for the Highbees with Martin Boyle in there as well.
Why?
So,
because Martin Boyle's leaving as well. So let's not
yes, he
forget about
is.
that.
He'll get his send off. You would think, and well, not. I hope I don't jinx him, but he should get his send off on Saturday, barring injury.
Do you think Susan Boyle will be there this year?
It's just boo.
Wild horses. Yeah, so I will go a now 2-1 to Celtic tonight. I will also go 1-0 Hearts. And the game at Ibrox, I will go 2-0 Hibs.
Well, Michael, he's
Weekly.
usually goes for his raw, but he's going for a 2-0 Hibs.
I find it difficult to see Rangers winning that game now. I just really do. The fact
How
that
flat is the atmosphere going to be?
Even if James Tavernier wasn't, Ethan, it would still be difficult.
I know, but at least for his final game, the fans could at least get a wee bit of encouragement out of him. Not even being in the squad, and apparently now we're finding out from multiple sources, by the way, that there's been a bust-up. The Rangers fans are actually going to hate Danny Rowe.
Do you think that kind of... I don't want to take any credit for it, but do you think it sort of changes your mind on Danny Rowe then for next season?
Nah. No. Because I think listen, I think equally the 49ers don't care. By the way, I think they're in there to do business. They will keep Danny Rowe. The only way I don't see it is if every Rangers fan turns now and majority of them are like screaming Danny Rowe out every match. Which case maybe they flip their mind, but I know right now.
Yeah, the thing is though, James Tavernier is a problem that after these two games is going to be gone. And the problem is if Danny Rowe can turn around this squad into believing in him. You know, we've seen recent Rangers managers, almost all of them have these so-called bust-ups with players. And we don't know, we're still assuming, we don't know if this has completely happened, but it is very strange that James Tavernier drops out of the squad entirely. You look back to Russell Martin and his sort of thing with Nico Raskin as well, and that's why I said numerous times that I didn't think this Rangers squad had the mentality to get over the line to win this league title, and I think that's been proven to be correct.
Okay, so we'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight, whatever happens. If Hearts wins the league or if it goes to a final day, decide at Parkhead on Saturday. Thanks to Reagan, thanks to Ethan, thanks to Robbie. Thanks for all your comments, and we'll be back at 10 o'clock here on the Scottish Football Zone.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.